and welcome to our viewers joining us from all around the world and here in the US. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Good to have you with us. Just ahead this hour, Heathrow Airport says some flights are resuming after a fire at a substation shut down Europe's busiest airport. A US judge says the Trump administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members is frightening. And controversy surrounds Disney's Snow White as the live-action remake hits the theaters. Well, flights are slowly resuming at London's Heathrow Airport, which was shut down for almost 24 hours after a nearby electricity substation caught fire and caused a complete power outage. The cause of the fire is still unknown, but authorities say it's not being treated as suspicious. Firefighters are still on the scene. Travellers were turned away for much of the day, disrupting tens of thousands of those who had journeyed around the world. Heathrow says it should return to normal operation Saturday, but questions are being asked about how this could happen at one of the world's busiest travel hubs.
What happened around midnight last night was obviously that we lost a major part of our power supply, and I'd like to stress that this has been an incident of major severity. It's not a small fire. We have lost power equal to that of a mid-sized city, and our backup systems have been working as they should, but they are not sized to run the entire airport.
Well, Willie Walsh, the former head of British Airways and now the leader of the airline industry's top trade group, had this to say. How is it that critical infrastructure of national and global importance is totally dependent on a single power source without an alternative? If that is the case, as it seems, then it is a clear planning failure by the airport. Well, our Max Foster has been at Heathrow Airport pretty much all day today covering this story. Good to have you there for us tonight, Max. So it's hard to believe that one fire at one substation could cause the entire airport to shut down, impacting hundreds of thousands of travellers around the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it felt like a national crisis this morning. The anti-terror police were brought in because they thought, how on earth could this happen? But as you say, very quickly they realised it was just an electrical fault at one place, and that backup system didn't work, and then the backup to the backup system didn't work, and I have to say there's quite a lot of frustration. I think Willie Walsh was speaking to it there with the airport, because they're saying it was a systemic failure. Also, another layer of frustration from all the passengers stuck around the world. You can't get hold of the airlines, particularly BA, but then Richard Quest was telling me earlier that actually some sympathy for BA because they're so inundated they can't cope with all of the calls right now. So everyone incredibly frustrated. A giant blaze lights up the night sky in West London. The fire at an electrical substation, knocking out power to the local area and to Europe's busiest airport. By the morning, the flames were under control, but London Heathrow had entered complete shutdown. Planes grounded and thousands of passengers in the UK and around the world stranded.
It's kind of unbelievable, just kind of like what the hell, because this whole trip's been a little bit of a, let's just say, bad luck.
I've called Delta and all the lines are busy, so they're not answering. I just called American Express Travel to see if they can help. I'm waiting.
The power outage lasted for hours, as the fire also impacted Heathrow's backup power supply. And with an average of 1,300 flights a day, the hit to this major travel hub caused global disruption. Many flights en route to Heathrow had to be diverted elsewhere. Others kept on the tarmac for hours, only for passengers to be told they couldn't fly.
A couple hours ago, right as we were about to leave Newfoundland, we were rerouted back to Minneapolis.
Some flights resumed late on Friday. The airport's hoping to be fully operational on Saturday. Meanwhile, counter-terrorism police have been called in to lead the investigation.
There's no suggestion that there is foul play.
Just a catastrophic accident is what we're looking at.
That is the conversation I've had is with the National Grid, the chief executive of the National Grid, and certainly that's what he said to me.
The chaos caused by this incident could take days to resolve.
This is an unprecedented situation, and we have not seen a closure of Heathrow on this scale for many years. Unfortunately, it will have a huge impact on all of our customers flying with us over the coming days.
Meaning thousands more passengers are heading for delays. Night flights normally aren't allowed over London, Lynda, but they are being allowed tonight to try to take some pressure off the system. I think the big test will be tomorrow, trying to get all those planes back in the right places from all the wrong places they are around the world right now, and dealing with the backlog whilst dealing with all of the bookings they've already got in place. I mean, it's going to take so long to unravel.
Yeah, it certainly is. Good to have you there staying across it all for us today out there in the rain. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it. Well, I want to hear firsthand now about the disruption affecting one passenger. Steve Wall is at Heathrow Airport Hotel. He's trying to get to Iceland from Australia. Good to have you with us, Steve.
Oh, thanks for having us. Yeah, it's been an adventure the last 24 hours.
I bet. So you've been in transit for over 24 hours. You travelled from Australia. One of the 290,000 passengers stranded as a result of this shutdown at Heathrow. What happened?
Yeah, we were about an hour off touching down in Heathrow this morning. The pilot gave us a heads up that there was going to be a slight change of plans, that we'd be diverting to another European airport, or potentially Gatwick, one of the other London airports. It didn't seem like too big a deal at the time, but when we touched down in Gatwick a few hours later and saw the chaos, it was, it's not what you want to hear after nearly 2 days of flying, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you are heading for Iceland. What's the delay going to cost you? Because we've obviously heard the sudden shutdown forced planes to divert over Britain, over Europe. Some of the long-haul flights had to return to their departure point. You were thankfully you landed at least in London. You didn't have to be sent back to Australia.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of a mad rush for a lot of people to join the dots with connecting flights to get one way or another to wherever they're trying to go. It will cost me a day or two. In the end, I'm going to try and head to the airport first thing tomorrow, and fingers crossed it's all running smoothly. We'll see. But yeah, fingers crossed they can reboot everything and get it all going. It's an unimaginable task.
So which airline were you flying with, Steve? And did they help out with accommodation and meals, or did you kind of sort that out yourself?
I was with British Airways, and they've actually been really good, and I don't envy their task. They mentioned they had 28,000 passengers to sort of house and deal with today, and I guess this is an unprecedented situation. So, we spent hours sitting around in the airport waiting to get our bags and waiting to get on a bus, waiting to get to a hotel, but it could have been a lot worse. I'm glad we just made it into London and didn't turn around at the halfway point and have to do it all again.
Yeah, exactly. And so just finally, what's your reaction to the fact that like one fire at a substation could shut down Heathrow Airport?
Yeah, it seems unimaginable that it could be a systemic failure on that level, with the worldwide ripple effect that obviously is being felt all over right now. Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
Well, Steve, I hope you get to take off tomorrow and head back to Iceland after your expedition in Australia. Thanks so much for your time, and hope you get some rest tonight.
Oh, thanks for having us. Cheers.